Welcome back to Hollywood Pulse. Appreciate all the support y'all been showing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single drop. Before Static Major passed, people swear he knew way more about Aaliyah's death than he ever spoke on. Static and Aaliyah were tight, both gone young, out of nowhere, and under hella shady circumstances. Aaliyah's plane crash got ruled an accident, and Static's death was blamed on some sudden medical issue.
Louisville R&B star Stephen Garrett was laid to rest today. Known in the music industry as Static, Garrett died Monday from complications from a medical procedure.
But when you peep the timing, the people involved, and that weird silence that followed both tragedies, it's hard not to think. Was there something deeper going on? See, Static wasn't just her songwriter. He basically built her whole vibe. That futuristic R&B sound that turned her into a legend. He was right there when her biggest hits were created, and he saw all that backroom drama with his own eyes. After Aaliyah passed, Static kept moving like everyone else, but he got real quiet, way more careful, and then started dropping little hints about how dark and dangerous the industry really is for folks who are too real for that shady world. Now here's where it gets wild. Rumors say Static was writing in a diary back then, putting down everything he couldn't say out loud. Names, events, stuff he saw, shady convos he overheard, all that dark industry dirt behind locked doors. That diary has never been released. Some say it straight up vanished after he passed, but a few pieces leaked online. And just reading what did leak, you can tell he was holding some heavy secrets. But then boom, he dies out of nowhere too, right when he was about to make his solo comeback. What was Static really trying to say? Did he know the truth about what happened to Aaliyah? And did someone out there make sure we never find out? Let's get into it. First off, let's put respect on who Static Major really was.
What was it like working with Static?
Now, Static a beast. But you know, there was a whole group. Static was a part of a group, and they was signed to Cash Money. He just was the lead of the group. Yeah, and so they had a little R&B group, and he was the lead of that group. So he was like, he would navigate, you know what I mean? He was navigating whatever they was doing. He had songs that he'd have hooks for and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Everybody wouldn't take to him, but I told you, me, being a little different about the women and the way I approach women. So let me hear that, that lollipop one, I got something for that, and that's how I go.
Too many folks sleep on his name like he was just some regular background writer. Nah, Static, born Stephen Garrett, was one of the most powerful voices shaping late 90s and early 2000s R&B. He wasn't just part of Playa. His real magic was behind the scenes. He had that rare skill to not just write catchy hooks, but create whole new sounds. Static always knew what was coming next in music. Not just what was trending, but what was about to change the entire game. Static's bond with Aaliyah wasn't just about music. She was one of the only people in the industry he truly rocked with on a deep level. He co-wrote some of her biggest bangers, like Are You That Somebody?, Try Again, We Need a Resolution, and More Than a Woman. Aaliyah's cool, laid-back vocals matched Static's sharp lyrics perfectly, and together they made tracks that were way ahead of their time. But their connection wasn't just in the studio. Folks around them said Static and Aaliyah had mad respect for each other. There were even rumors back then that they were more than just friends. According to Static's mom, they actually dated for a little while in 1998, before deciding they were better off as close friends. His mom told the source, "They were definitely an item. Aaliyah was crazy about him. He brought her to my wedding. That was a big deal because her parents never let her go places like that." So when Aaliyah tragically passed in August 2001, it wasn't just a work loss for Static. It hit him personally, deep in the heart. But here's what gets ignored. Static never tried to cash in on Aaliyah's name. He didn't ride her wave like so many clout chasers did. Instead, he got way quieter, like he was being careful, almost like he was protecting something big. And that's what makes what happened next so suspicious. After Aaliyah's death, something changed in Static. He didn't vanish, but he stopped chasing the spotlight. He kept writing for big names like Genuine, Truth Hurts, Brandy, and eventually Lil Wayne. And in case you didn't know, that's Static's voice on the hook of Lollipop, one of Wayne's biggest hits ever. But behind the scenes, Static was working on something close to his soul. his own solo project. He was finally ready to step out from the shadows and tell his own story to the world. His solo album Suppertime was already in the works before he passed in 2008, but it never got released officially. The project was almost done. Some tracks were fully recorded and ready to drop, but after his sudden death, the album got shelved and just disappeared. To this day, no one knows if the full album still exists, where it's hidden, or if it'll ever see daylight. But insiders who worked with Static hinted that the songs weren't just about love and steamy vibes like the industry wanted. Some tracks felt darker, cryptic, and one track allegedly talked about Aaliyah's passing. And here's the craziest part. Static was also keeping notes and writing in his journal. People close to him said he was planning to finally speak up about what really happened, but he was waiting for the perfect moment. Sadly, that moment never came. On February 25, 2008, Static walked into a hospital complaining about flu-like symptoms and shortness of breath, and just days later he was gone too. He was gone just like that. No autopsy report ever got released to the public, and there was zero follow-up or any type of real investigation. Static was only 33 years old, and he left behind his wife, Avanti Garrett, and 4 kids. His family later filed a medical negligence lawsuit against Baptist Hospital East in Louisville, Kentucky. They settled out of court eventually, but the real truth behind Static's death never got fully explained. And here's the thing. You don't gotta be some wild conspiracy theorist to see the pattern here. Static Major wasn't the first to die young in this business, and he sure wasn't the last. The music industry has a long, dark history of people passing suddenly under shady and unresolved circumstances. And that brings us right back to Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, what they did with her is the same thing that Quaker Mutua talks about in his thing, where he talks about they could get the energy of a young girl and put them in the bed with an old man, and they can draw her energy. Aaliyah, what they did with Aaliyah is, although they sacrificed her, they did the movie Akasha.
The official story about her death wasn't just tragic. It was suspicious as hell. It felt rushed, sloppy, and full of contradictions. Even 20+ years later, so many questions remain unanswered. Why was she even on that plane in the first place? Who gave the green light? And why was she given a sleeping pill before boarding? According to one eyewitness, Kingsley Russell, Aaliyah straight up refused to get on that plane and went back to a taxi complaining about a headache. But then, someone from her team gave her a pill, and moments later, they carried her unconscious onto the plane. Kingsley's family ran a taxi business in the Bahamas where Aaliyah was filming her final music video, Rock the Boat, so he witnessed her last moments alive. Just hours later, Aaliyah and everyone on that plane were gone forever. The plane crashed right after takeoff, only about 200 feet from the end of the runway. The official story says the plane was overloaded and one engine failed, but there's been tons of conflicting reports about what really went down. And while her crash got ruled as an accident, a lot of people in the industry have hinted it wasn't random at all. Remember when Mary J. Blige called it spiritual murder? You gotta ask yourself, why would anyone refer to a plane crash like that? Even if Mary didn't mean it literally, it's still weird she chose those exact words. Plus, you heard Mary say, "From what I know, it wasn't supposed to go down like that." So what exactly did she know? And why does she still refuse to explain what she meant by that? After that, people started connecting dots fast. Names like R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and Diddy kept coming up. Not just in gossip blogs, but in real serious conversations about who had access to Aaliyah, who was circling around her, and who might have wanted her out of the picture. When it comes to R. Kelly, he didn't just date Aaliyah, he straight up victimized her and illegally married her when she was only 15 while he was 27. And that ain't no rumor. That's documented, confirmed, and part of what finally landed him behind bars. But even after that sick history with R. Kelly, other powerful dudes in the industry kept preying on Aaliyah. Dame Dash once said that Jay-Z knew exactly what R. Kelly did to her and still chose to work with him anyway. Meanwhile, Jay allegedly became obsessed with Aaliyah himself and tried hard to lock her down. But Aaliyah picked Dame over Jay. And if you believe what Jaguar Wright been saying for years,
allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible. for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling.
Jay didn't handle that rejection well at all. Jaguar claims Jay-Z's ego couldn't take it, that Aaliyah was a threat to his plans, and the theory goes even darker. Some say he wanted her out of the way to punish Dame and clear a path for Beyonce. And then you got Diddy in the mix. Aaliyah was at his infamous all-white parties, and some folks believe Jay used his connect with Diddy to try getting Aaliyah hooked on something. Substances, control, dependency, anything to manipulate her. It's speculation, sure, but when you look at the power plays and Jay and Diddy's long history together, it ain't too hard to imagine something shady was going down. One thing's for sure, though. Aaliyah was surrounded by powerful, predatory men from the moment she stepped in this game. And the ones who should have protected her didn't. The few real ones who tried to help her, like Static Major and DMX, ended up dead under sketchy circumstances. Some insiders say Static didn't know the full truth at first, but after Aaliyah passed, his whole view of the music business flipped upside down. That's when he started keeping that diary. That's when his lyrics took a darker turn. And there's even interviews that popped up recently where Static spoke on how dark this industry is, saying people will smile in your face while plotting your downfall. So if Static was really trying to protect Aaliyah, or at least expose the truth after she was gone, it would make sense why he got silenced too. But what do you think? Was Aaliyah's death just a tragic accident, or was something way darker lurking behind the scenes? Did Static Major know the real truth, and was he taken out before he could speak up? Drop all your theories down in the comments, and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this, and I'll see you on the next one.